What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Will coming back with another update video for today, August 24th. And I don't really think I have to ask you guys how you guys are doing, because if you've watched any of my videos or actually jumped into AMC, like I've explained to you guys why this has so much potential, I already know today you're having a great day, especially for a day where we went up or are still climbing up essentially at 20, or what is that, 25%. We have a 25.3% day, or otherwise a $9.60 or 70 cent gain day. I don't think any day that you make money in the stock market is a bad day. Me personally, that's my opinion. Again, you may have a different opinion, but that's just the way I see it. But to get into the price action today, as you guys do see from my chart here, we did start off the day with a major dip right around the middle of the day at around 12. And from that point to the close of the day, we had nothing but a rip straight up. The chart actually gave us a lot of really good information as well. As you guys see this dotted line from the trend line we had identified a week and a half ago, where we broke out of this triangle that we had formed. This gives us confirmation that this dip in price was forced, or otherwise short sellers shorting the stock. How do we know that? Because today in the run-up, the stock did something pretty neat that I actually like to see, and this is why I tell you guys to not be afraid to draw a line on the chart, because the chart will always confirm to you or not confirm to you when you were right. And as you guys see right here in the middle, right towards the end of the day, you see these candles shoot up and then hit this line and then bounce back, and then you get a red, green, red again hitting the line, and then finally it didn't get rejected, and then you start seeing the bars form on top of the line. This is called consolidation, where it's building support where there used to be resistance. So this is a resistance line, or was a resistance line, back when we were forming this triangle, where we were very well respecting this for days on end, right? So that's our confirmation that that trend line was in fact true, right? So that's how you kind of get that confirmation, by studying a chart. You have to draw the lines to see later on down the road whether your theory or your idea that you saw was right. We broke past it in either case, got up to the $48 mark, and then we fell down or did a little pullback. However, we did this, which I highlighted with a blue square, which this in the stock market is called consolidating, or otherwise what the stock is doing is it's trying to build a support. So if I put my cursor right there, essentially, you see that it's respecting this line, trying to build above it and below it a next floor for the next run up, right? Which is important, especially if you want to keep climbing in price. You want to see a stock build or consolidate so that it can build its next support before it does a next run up. Even in after hours, we're still peaking a little bit, which leads me to believe either some of these short sellers who are holding smaller positions may have said, you know what, this is too much, it's too much risk, I'm good, and they jumped out and they covered their short position. In either case, we won't know for a couple days until we get the reporting on the short position to see how many of these 85.8 million shares have been covered or bought back. So if we see this number decrease either tomorrow or the day after, then we automatically know some short seller covered their position, which is good because it'll give us a level set to understand how many shares they covered and what it took to get us from 37 essentially to 48, or an $11 jump. So we're going to get good data out of that as well, which will lead us down the road further as we continue this bull run, to see potentially how much money AMC is going to actually net anyone who is invested in it, right? Again, as I had alluded to in some of my first videos, my anticipation was here. I was ready for this to converge, or the MACD to converge, and starting our buying period where we started forming green bars on the bottom. As you see, every day, day by day, they're getting bigger, and then today has been our biggest gain so far now that we are in this bull run. Furthermore, going into the analysis or the options chain that I always like to show you guys for this week, August 27th, you see that we went essentially from 34 is where we started, with 4,000 contracts on that strike. We increased just today alone, let's see, 9, 5, 8, so it's 14, 23, a hell of a lot. Let's just put it at that. I'm not going to try to do this math in my head, but it's a lot. Specifically, going to Stonk Tracker, another tool that I frequently use on my videos, we are at 104,000 contracts that are ITM, or in the money. officially, with another 7,200 contracts sitting at the $45 mark, which we've actually already eclipsed. So by tomorrow morning, that'll be added to the total. If we hold this $46 strike price or $46 price on the stock, this will get increased tomorrow morning. So these 7,000 will get added to the 104. If we go down further, you guys see there are still 63,000 contracts out of the money. The strike dates, or the total amount of options that are available for this week, only go up to $80. If the price continues to climb at this rate tomorrow and leading into Friday, potentially we may have more contracts open where people can throw in their money, giving us even more potential to run. Another thing you guys need to take note of, if you remember last week, we had like 290,000 contracts out of the money, and we had almost the equal amount in puts, right? So we were leveraged, meaning we were even stacked on both sides. As you see this week, we only have 3,000 puts contracts in the money, and only 98 sitting out of the money versus 63 for calls. Looking into the further weeks, next week for September the 3rd, there are not a lot of puts compared to calls, and for September the 10th, it's the same. It's even less. It's only until the monthly contract, which is September 17th, that you see 327,000 put contracts out of the money. I'll pull up. There's a person you can follow on Twitter. I'll actually show you guys what his handle is. So first is Tofik. This is a good guy to follow. He always posts articles on Twitter and good feed and good DD or due diligence and research that he finds, and unusual whales. These are probably the two I retweet the most if you follow me on Twitter. They put out a lot of really good information. I'll have to find the tweet where they were talking about a put contract that was essentially bought at like the $120 strike. I think is what I saw. I'll track it down and find it and show you guys. That's also extremely bullish, because that means people who think the stock price is going to go down are thinking it's going to go down, but from the $120 area, which again, if that's the case, then that automatically should tell us as retail holders we can anticipate the stock to at least hit 120, right? But I'll get into the tweet and do the research on it and make sure that it's valid and accurate before I go down that road. But just know today was a really good day. We are already forming support, as you guys see here, in the 40s, and now we have another little push in the after hours. Hopefully tomorrow we can take that push and continue to run up, would be one scenario. Or the alternative is we could have a consolidation day where we essentially just trade sideways all day, or even slightly red, falling back down to the support we've already identified down here at the 44.89 mark, right? Our next point of resistance, or major resistance, is close to the $50 mark, or 49.86, that I have already identified from the chart. So we would look to approach this line of resistance, either break through it and then consolidate before we continue our next run up. So just a lot of really good things to look forward to. I know a lot of people have been waiting for a really long time. If you've been holding AMC since January, you're almost on month 9 of holding this stock. So your day is come, right? It's coming, right? It's just the patience. The biggest winner, or the biggest difference maker in the stock market, is how patient you can be and how well you can control your emotions. Because again, as we've seen from the chart, this drop in price, which was a 45% drop, was psychological to try to get everybody to sell out of their position, because at the end of the day, that's a short position holder strategy, right? Their idea for shorting a stock is to take the original price and get it to fall to the lowest price possible so they can make a nice gain. However, anytime that they have done this or tried to lower the price, as you see here, forcing a dip by synthetically or by throwing large amounts of shares into the open market, again, supply and demand, anytime they dip the price, all we do is eat up the dip and we eat up those shares. And as you see, we continue to push the price up. So this strategy clearly is not working for them, because as you see, if the price continues to go up, they continue to lose more and more money. To kind of give you guys an example, I did track down that article I talked about a few days ago. So this is from June 3rd, as you guys see here. So that was the run up from 15 to 72. Essentially, in 8 days, we forced or caused $4.5 billion in losses. Well, look at the chart. we're here essentially where my cursor is in the mid 40s right now. So if we were doing this run up again and duplicating it, we've essentially inflicted once again at least half of that loss again or more, because you have to remember all these little dips, they had to short more to get the price to dip further. We've been buying up these dips, which only forces the price back up as the bars indicate. So just remember, if anything else, just remember what side you're on at this current moment. And from the chart, you can clearly see if you are holding AMC, you are on the winning side. Another thing I did want to point out before I end the video is something that I noticed, and I mean a lot of people have noticed and pointed this out on YouTube. You may have noticed it or you may have not. But as I've already explained, each company has its own significant amount of shares available or afloat. No one companies or no two companies are matching. So the probability of one company doing exactly what another one does in the chart is almost mathematically impossible. And if you don't get what I'm saying, this is GameStop. Notice the chart. But I'm also going to point out some of the obvious. Notice the float. Shares out. 71.82 million shares available to trade. Now look at AMC. Literally almost an identical chart. However, 513 million shares. I don't know if maybe I'm not explaining it right, or maybe I am, or maybe you are grasping it. But it is almost mathematically impossible for a company who has 513 million shares to do in the price action the exact same thing, one, that only a company who has 71 million shares to replicate a chart. Like, it is literally almost mathematically impossible to do that. But yet, these two companies continuously do that, which should only lead you to further understand and believe why they are so highly rated on the short stats, one being ranked number 1 and GameStop being ranked number 3. But as you see, one has 85 million short shares confirmed, the other one only has 7.6. Yet the charts are doing almost identical patterns on the chart when it comes to their day-to-day action. So just something to consider. I currently hold both of these positions. If you actually have me on IG or Twitter, I actually posted around 1 in the afternoon my gains for the day, because again, I do hold a very large significant position of AMC and GameStop. So if you follow me, great. If you don't, please look me up. You're more than welcome to. My Twitter is up here as well. If you guys want to follow me there, I do post a lot of stock updates and stock news and retweets from a lot of people that do a lot of research and due diligence throughout the day. So it'll only help you when you're trying to establish a position or just understand what's going on in the trading action, right? But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's hope for another green day tomorrow. If you guys have questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to get to you. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help with the growth of the channel, as I'm trying to get my videos seen by as many people as possible so I can teach as many people as possible, right? But nonetheless, I'll catch you guys in the next one.